Listen. Denny is a problem.
Victor being very pissed off that Denny is throwing a fit after one of the children just got murdered is going to attempt to grapple him.
To be fair, Tenny is also throwing a fit.
I'm gonna run over to Tenny.
Okay. What are Ekon and Edmont doing once they kind of realize there's this altercation behind them between their cousins?
Telekinetic shove Denny 5 feet away from Evie.
And he goes stumbling backwards and tumbles ass over feet into the water. He starts cursing and swearing up a storm, casting blame. Doesn't look like he realizes yet that anybody has died. In fact, that realization is probably only just now starting to hit a lot of you.
Victor is going to yell at Denny to shut the fuck up. His kid. What was the relation? Cousin?
He's our cousin.
Sister. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's cousin.
No, Giannis is our cousin.
Who is Giannis and Denny, though?
Cousins.
Cousins. Yeah, we're all...
Victor is going to very not politely inform Denny to shut up, get his shit together, because Giannis just got killed.
Evie and Victor, one of you make an intimidation check, and you can make it at advantage.
I'll do it. My intimidation is pretty good.
Because both of you are yelling at Denny at this point.
I have no intimidation, so...
Oh, I do. And this is at advantage. Okay, so... I got a 21 on Intimidate.
Okay. You manage to shout Denny down as he picks some stuff up out of the muck. Kind of works his way back across the other side of this tree here. And he's muttering to himself the whole way and brushing the muck and the wringing out the wet from his clothing. And yeah, it's at this point that those of you standing around, Abernathy and Giela and Platten, as he comes back over as well, realize that the frog creature has killed young Yanis. Tenny is bawling as the realization hits her.
Evie is also sobbing.
Jeannie is doing her best to... she's basically holding Tenny and just letting her cry.
Okay.
Victor is going to very angrily go to the dead frog creature in the water.
Oh, there's lots of them.
So the edible one, he's going to go grab the big edible.
We do not know that is edible yet. You have to let me... I have poison
Is anybody
proficiency.
trained
Let me look at it.
Are you anybody trained in nature?
Orson and then the guys. The
I'm
hunters.
trained in poison. If it's poisonous, I would be able to tell.
How so?
Victor's going to gather food while they...
Is that something Poisoner's Kit allows you to know?
It allows me to identify poisonous substances.
Okay, go ahead and make that check. Intelligence plus Poisoner Kit.
16.
16? Mm-hmm. There are parts on this creature that would be edible and not make you sick, but a distressingly small amount of it. If you properly butcher each of these giant frogs, you can get 3 meals out of each one.
What if I cast Purify Food and Drink on them?
Does that just make poisonous food palatable?
It removes poison and disease. Let me get the exact description.
Huzzah for ritual casting.
No, I have to prep it. I'm not a wizard.
Oh, right.
I mean, I guess I can't cast as a ritual. I don't have to use a slot, but I did prep it. All non-magical food and drink within a 5-foot radius sphere centered on a point within range is purified and rendered free of poison and disease.
Yeah, after it's properly butchered, I'd say it would count as food. You can get 8 meals out of each of these giant frogs.
Okay. I will cast it as a ritual, though. Not immediately, I think.
So you guys are spending the morning butchering up these giant frogs, then?
What are we going to do with Giannis's remains?
Can we preserve him until Ekon can revive him?
No. We can't.
I think that's going to happen.
That magic is beyond any of us.
Do we burn him, or religion check, would it be more appropriate to burn or bury him?
Burial is more traditional.
Okay, yeah.
We're not burying him here.
No.
In the middle of a swamp. We can
Oh.
take him. We can take him with us towards maybe to one of the pastures or something.
As
So
the morning
then-
goes on, the butchering of these frogs is happening, and you guys are discussing. Word gets back. You're not sure if it's true or not. But Lietgard has overheard, and he wasn't sure if it was Jayla or Lair who said it. But one of them is rumored to have commented, "It's one less mouth."
Victor will just not say anything.
Who was it?
You overhear this as Lietgard was telling this to Abernathy, and Abernathy hasn't reported it to any of you, but one of you overheard it. I'll let you guys decide. It's up to you if you want to confront these people about it. But
No.
tensions are starting to run high. Everybody's hungry.
I mean, there is no sense, Evie, in starting a fight.
Evie, death glare.
You can always poison them later. And I pat her on the back very awkwardly
Victor just shakes.
while I'm holding a crying Tenny. You can always kill them in their sleep.
Do
later.
any of the frogmen have anything interesting on them?
No, they had crude spears and small shields, which were little more than just hardened sections of tree bark.
Let me see, is it just, I need to look at these, because I actually have short swords and
Victor will pose the question if anybody wants to check if the frogmen themselves are edible. As he's butchered.
We're not eating sentient creatures.
And Jayla, not yet anyway.
yep, not yet. Let me see.
Better frogmen than us.
Ekon is just very withdrawn for pretty much everything. After he
Evie's
cast
just
a couple
over here,
spells.
just like staring into the horizon.
So what do you do with Giannis's body?
We have
I mean, I'll
any,
bury it.
I mean, we not here
This
on this
is-
island,
Terrible place to bury it.
No.
right? Well, like
But
we're just going.
Here's
to...
the thing: is if we keep it going, if we keep his body for too long, it's going to ripen. And
Well, we just need to get. If we go to
Oh,
one
no,
of
we
the
just-
plains, we can bury there in the grass.
Well, I think we just. I mean, I'll just go out with one of the hunters today, and once we're outside of the water fens of the marsh, I'll do the proper rites and bury him. Orson, maybe you could take up the spade, though.
Shrink the lens of truth down a little bit. So before you get to a place where the ground is hard enough that you think a burial would take, rather than just digging into wetlands that you're pretty sure are just gonna, you're pretty sure seasonally will flood and overflow, you are gonna have to go to one of these hexes outside of the woods. You're looking at a day's journey.
So
Fortunately, at this point, nobody's moving at half speed. Nobody's that exhausted yet, but it's only a matter of time.
So, who all took actual damage as opposed to temp HP?
I took a
Evie
little.
actual damage.
Denny.
Mostly
took
among
damage.
NPCs who don't have hit dice.
Lugerin took damage. Abernathy took some damage. And Jayla took some damage.
Tenny got healed to full, right?
Yeah, she's
Denny
fine.
didn't. Denny
Denny,
got bitten
okay.
by a frog.
So I've got 2 more targets on a word of healing that I can. I got 2 players that I can target with a word of healing on top of them. Anyone who wants it?
I could use it. I'm at
probably
prayer
not
feeling.
still.
20 out of 31.
Yep. So that's 10 hit points to 6 targets, which are those 4 NPCs plus the 2 of us, the 2 of you.
So Denny is at full. Lugerin is at full. Jayla is at full. No, not quite. She's still down 1. And Abernathy is at full. Trieste and Abernathy, of course, very graciously offer you heartfelt condolences for your loss, and Trieste offers Donix as well on her behalf, as she's not able to speak. And let's see if the hunt provides anything today. Somebody would like to roll survival for Orson.
If I put a enhanced ability that lasts for an hour, is that enough to improve their hunting?
Just for Orson.
I
think
can only
target.
target one thing anyway. So
Yeah,
go
it's
ahead and roll that with advantage.
The DC is slightly higher today because it's raining. I have
What is the DC? That's a 14.
a 14. That passes. So go ahead and roll a D4 plus 1 for Orson.
That is a 4 on die. Yay, 5 max. So we have 8, 16 plus 5.
21.
Everybody gets to eat today.
So I got you at 23 total rations.
Plus whatever the other two get. Or did they fail?
Well, that was counting the ones Orson just got, and one of the other hunters also passed.
Well, we had the 16 from the frog.
Yep,
So.
I counted that. I had that counted already.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
So, are you going to carry Giannis's body down the river with you, or are you going to travel inland to find a suitable place to bury him?
We don't have the food to spare a trip just to bury him.
No, but we're going to bury him, and I think we could head towards that smoke. And
Yeah, that's
If you
where.
head towards the smoke, you're heading deeper into the marsh.
oh, that's marsh. That's not forest.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
More frogmen, most likely.
Did I ever bring back from my familiar that I sent continuous south?
Not yet, because you sent it out yesterday.
Right. Okay.
My thought is one group of us can go overland here and then meet back up with the others on the river tomorrow.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
We may not be able to find them that easily. Something could happen to them on the river. We wouldn't know where they are.
If we go to this square to south here, is there enough like land there to not spend an entire day burying it?
I think we're out of the marsh if we go that way.
Difficult to say. It's possible.
I'm going to wrap Giannis's body in just the spare winter clothing we have.
Okay.
Wrap him up tightly, and then I'm going to stick his corpse into my bag of holding.
That is the most undignified I could think of, but it's also probably the best
Listen,
idea.
in the last campaign, they used to dismember them first.
Well, he's a child. We don't have to do that.
It was. Wow. I feel like Alex chopped up a whole bunch of bodies for his bag of holding.
Just don't tell Evie or Edmont you did that.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm not hiding.
I assumed she wasn't hiding that she was doing that.
Right.
Yeah, if you
It's
got-
just storage.
If you go south along the river, I'm going to say you're going to have to travel inland. If you travel south along the river, you're still in the wetlands.
I think we should stay on the river because
For a couple days more.
the reason I say that is civilization tends to happen on towns tend to spring up on rivers.
We know there's someone here. We should check.
I think our best bet to find a village, a town of any kind, is within a day or two of this river.
Exactly. I think the only thing we're going to find by the smoke are probably more frog people with more spears and more gigantic circles of psychic death that are going to finish off Tenny.
So I say we go.
We don't have to take everyone with us. It seems the river has seemed, when we're actually sailing, has seemed fairly safe.
But I think we should at least go another. What is it? 1, 2, like a third day, maybe a fourth, depending on where it goes from here.
Yeah.
I think we should go at least 3 more days, maybe possibly fourth, on the river.
I support this idea. We know what's in the marsh.
Okay, so you guys are going to stay together, traveling south down the river with Giannis's body
In the bag.
in the bag.
He's in the bag.
Genie,
Yep.
the next day, when your familiar reports back, having seen high stone walls off to the south.
Jeannie she'll report this, just kind of very matter of factly. My familiar Owl found some walls.
Were they by the river or were they inland?
No,
It's south.
South from your current position, so you'd have to abandon the river.
I think that's
Sorry,
let's
when
get-
did you say that happens?
Well, yesterday Jeannie sent her familiar out an extra
Yeah.
hex to come back. So we have 3 more familiars to check out any other hexes around you you'd like to check.
I'll continue having Lux scout in this direction.
Scouting down the river some more. Woo.
go that way.
Lens no longer functions.
What happened?
Get unchecked.
Tiny lens.
You run out of mana, I guess.
Reveal. Yeah. Oh
What?
God. Oh.
That's
I
a
think that's too much.
Undo.
It's too late. I'm taking screenshots.
I wonder why the undo function doesn't work.
Well,
Well, here, I'll do this.
you could just add it back in manually, can't you? I mean, we knew there was a town there. You're not giving anything away to us, really.
You don't know there's a town there.
Well, the familiar said there was. We were going to go look.
We just saw walls. We don't know what's actually there. It could be another giant frog fort.
It said stone walls. That doesn't say frog people fort to me.
We were in the square right here.
Yep. There we go. That's better.
Yeah.
And Edmond's sending to the south.
No, I was.
Oh yeah, I'm doing the southwest.
I guess there's only 3 of you and there's only 3 squares. So yes, there are high stone walls to the south. There's also black, ominous, dark clouds looming. The further south you go, the blacker they get. Off in the distance.
Like storm clouds or
Nothing bad ever comes from black clouds. We'll be
Familiars have
fine.
only seen them from a great distance. I mean, black clouds usually indicate a storm, yes.
problem is like what
And
kind
we
of
need
storm?
to then we need to not be on the river when a storm hits. I'll say that right now.
Well, we know there's some walls to the south.
I think we're going here. I think we have to abandon the ship, take everything with us.
Grab your bag. Let's beach the ship so if these clouds do turn into something, our boat won't get washed away. We can try and hide it.
So you're going to try to hide the boat ashore?
I think that's probably a good idea.
Probably
yeah.
a good idea.
But we should be prepared for the fact that we just may not see this boat again. If we're going to leave it, we need to leave that possibility. Unless we're going to leave someone here to guard it, in which case we could lose them.
No, we're going to do our best to hide the boat, and then if it's not there, we come back. It's not there. We'll take the stuff with us, and we'll go south
We'll live with it.
Before
We'll live
today's
with
long rest, is everybody eating today?
with our food.
You have 23 rations and 20 people.
I need a long rest.
Victor is eating.
Okay,
Evie has a level of exhaustion, so she needs to eat.
so is everybody eating? That's a yes?
I think so.
Edmont
Yeah.
didn't eat yesterday, so yeah.
All right. Then, yeah, everybody can go ahead and take the benefits of the long rest. And it clears all the exhaustion. And everybody's now had 0 days since rests.
Evie is very distraught. She's very distant.
Yeah, Ekon hasn't said much other than, actual prayer either.
That night,
Jeannie's just been singing to Tenny the entire time.
everybody roll a d20 and tell me who rolls highest.
Not me.
20.
Victor has a 20.
Victor has a 20. I'm
Victor, who's
beat it.
taking watch with you that night?
going to say Edmont.
So Victor and Edmont, you're awake. Very late at night. You guys are taking second or third watch. You're expecting dawn within a couple hours, and it's a very somber affair. You guys have pulled the boat ashore. You try to hide it in some foliage as best you can. Off in the distance, from the direction that you've come, but overland. So from the north, but crossing, like from the swamplands rather than along the river itself, you see a few pinpoints of green light. And you watch them for a little while, thinking that maybe they're just a natural phenomenon, but they're very consistent, and it looks like they're traveling towards you. Do either of you have
Roll
any
an
dark
arrow.
vision?
I haven't.
I can put it up, and if this situation, yeah, I would absolutely do so. Yes.
Is my owl able to see, or is it still flying around?
Oh, your owl is busy scouting.
So you know, as an action, you can put the owl in an extra-dimensional pocket, and then when it's in the pocket, as an action again, you can make it appear within 30 feet of you.
You can, but we've already determined that Victor's owl did some scouting today.
Yeah, just you're aware that's an option.
So, Edmont, you are gonna...
Yeah, I'm gonna spend 2 key points and put on dark vision.
What's coming towards you looks like 3 shrouded humanoid creatures, each holding in front of them a lantern that's glowing with green light. And it looks like they're approaching your camp. You guys have a fire going, yes?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, they're a couple 100 feet away. Within the next couple of minutes, they'll be upon you.
Victor will start waking people up.
Edmont will knock an arrow, call out, name yourself.
How close do you wait till the creatures get before you call out?
Short bow range.
Which
So
is
about 80 feet.
So 80 feet? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how far away is your dark vision?
60 feet.
Okay, well then, yeah, you wouldn't be able to see that they were creatures until they were 60 feet. But they're about that far away.
Yeah.
The lantern
that
stops,
one.
and you call out. And for a moment, it's just silence. Have you guys woken everybody up?
That's what Victor's doing.
Okay, so
Victor
Victor
is-
is slowly shaking people awake.
Starting with the ones that can actually, attack stuff.
Or you're like just calling out an alarm. Hey, bitches, get up!
He's
Shit's
gonna
about to
try-
pop off!
He's gonna try and strategically wake up the people that can actually fight. So, like Tenny, he's gonna not wake up.
Okay. Well, Tiny will rouse as Edmund starts calling out to the creature as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, one by one, Victor shakes you guys all awake and makes you aware that something's happening. Edmund, you hear a voice call back, and it's a woman's voice. And it sounds like an old woman, but what she calls back are words that you can't understand. And then the lights start slowly moving towards you again.
Like, try another language. I don't understand your words. That's close enough.
You call out again. Well, how many languages do you know?
Common and Elvish.
Okay.
Well, let me see if my little psionic stuff requires a language.
Edmonds, make me an intelligence check at disadvantage.
That's a 4.
A 4. The woman calls back again. And again, you can tell that she's changed to a different language as well. And you think you can recognize parts of the language as being similar to Elvish, but you don't know what she's saying.
Brick. Victor is going to use Psychic Whispers
Okay.
to establish a telepathic communication because you do not need to speak the same language to communicate.
What's the distance on that?
It's up to a mile.
Up to a mile. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have to be able to see the target?
It doesn't say one way or the other. You have to actually be able to see it.
Okay, then you don't. You reach out and establish a psychic connection with one of the creatures.
Preferably the one that was speaking.
Well, you would have no way of knowing that.
And so he's trying to reassuringly say, my apologies, this is the only way I know how to communicate. And trying to find out sort of why they're there in as diplomatic of a fashion as Victor knows how.
And the response comes to you in your mind and says, "We are not averse to speaking the old way, and we are come to bargain."
If that is true, then you are welcome to approach.
And they begin approaching once again.
We'll tell Edmund to stand down. They're here to bargain.
And
with
was
Evelyn.
about to pull the arrow back.
Easy,
Then
easy.
he'll calm down.
I'm going to cast a spell.
Did we finish our long rest?
Yes. This was just before the sun was starting to come up.
Okay.
So yeah, everybody can go ahead and take the benefits of that long rest. In fact, everybody got it because everybody got to eat. It was the most disgusting food you've ever eaten because it's magically treated gross frog parts, but
It tastes better than child, so we're not complaining.
it tastes better than starvation for sure.
I'm going to use my noble spell slot to cast Comprehend Languages,
Okay.
just so I can hear the conversation if they speak. But that's it.
That only affects you, yes?
Yeah.
And before too long, the three figures step into the range of your campfire, and you can see that they're three hunchback old women, shrouded in gray and green cloaks. And it's difficult to tell with the flickering of the fire and the darkness of the very early morning where their long scraggly hair ends and where the folds and raiments of their robes begin. But each of them is holding in front of them this lantern with a green light. And as they come in the range of the light given off by your fire, the green lights are extinguished and the lanterns appear empty. And they allow the lantern to go slack at their side, and then one by one they each set it upon the ground. And then one by one they hold their hands forward in front of them, palms up, fingers splayed out. And they continue to speak to Victor in his mind. But you have no way of knowing which one you're conversing with.
So it does up to 3 people, so it can just hit all 3 of them.
So you're going to converse with just the 3 of them?
Psychically,
Okay.
Yeah.
And one of them, you're not sure which one, says, "We are come to bargain for the leavings of Magila."
Magila, we've heard that word before. Can you explain what that is?
And the 3 women exchange glances, one to the other. What is everybody else doing as Victor's having this psychic conversation?
Victor is trying to kind of relay what's going on in, I guess, common.
Okay.
Does anybody else here speak like Dwarvish or Elvish?
I speak both those, I think.
I've got a bunch of empty slots.
Yeah. I got Ancient Elvis, Ancient Dwarvish, and Unchosen.
Yeah, I've got like 4 unchosens. You and I both speak Ancient Aetherine.
Yeah, I doubt these people know Ancient Aetherine.
Well, they have no difficulty speaking psychically.
Yeah.
They explain that Magila was left an offering, but the offering was stolen before Magila could collect. And so Magila has sent the 3 of them to bargain for the offering and ask what you would have of them.
What is the offering that you are searching? Can you describe the offering?
The body of the boy smitten by Magila. Magila would have its leavings.
Magila are the frog. Victor will describe them as best he can. These are Magila.
They explain that Magila is Magila. Magila is always hungry, and Magila must have its offering.
Victor will very deadpan turn to Ekon and the others and explain what they're asking for. They want the body.
Well, they can't have it.
Victor will ask these 3 witches, and what if my comrades and I refuse to part with the offering. What are you offering, and what are you willing to do if we are unwilling to meet your offer?
Well, they observe that you are not carrying the offering any longer and ask where you have parted with it. It would be enough to tell them where the offering has been left.
The offering has been stored someplace sacred for the time being. Perhaps
They
if you
mention
are
that sacred things will not hamper them. It would be enough to tell them where to find it.
and what would you be willing to give us for this information?
They ask what you would have of them.
Jeannie whispers. Jeannie whispers over to Evie. She's like, he's bargaining with these, isn't he?
So Victor will walk over to
He's gonna sell Giannis's soul.
Victor is going to walk over to Ekon, because does anybody else speak Old Etherine or just Ekon?
Evie does.
All right, so he's going to motion Evie over.
Several of your NPCs do as well.
Yeah, no, just these two. And he's going to lean in very close and whisper in Old Etherine. They are willing to trade for the location, and then is there a whatever sort of thieves' can't sign there is for trickery?
Mm-hmm. Evie nods.
Victor is going to make to Evie as he says location.
So what's the intent here? You're going to lie to these witches and tell them that Giannis's body is somewhere it's not?
Goddamn right.
Okay.
That seems like Evie tells you this seems like a really, 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 really dangerous idea.
So we have a couple choices here. We can either refuse to part with the body, in which case they may take it as a grave offense and try to attack us. We could just tell you that we can't part with it and deal with the consequences. We could tell them that we have buried the body somewhere else or put it in the river or something and let them go search for it. Maybe, they won't find it. Maybe they'll accuse that we are lying. We don't really know.
These people came straight to us. I think they will go straight to wherever you tell them it is, and they will know if they are going to find it or not. I do not think you could deceive people like this.
All right.
Let's get an insight check from everybody except Victor and Evie, who are in this who are engrossed in their conversation.
That is a very high number. That is 19
That's
plus
Pretty good.
23.
23. Jeannie.
Yeah. Yep.
10.
And how did Ekon do?
Ekon got a 24.
Okay, so yeah, Ekon and Jeannie. Victor and Evie are having this conversation off to the side in Old Aetherine, and the three witches are very politely standing by. But you can tell that they don't understand the language being spoken. This does, it doesn't strike you as odd necessarily, like you've come to understand that you're in a new world of some kind, but learned old crones like this have always been associated with Old Aetherine in your minds. It's something that every educated person learns. But these women have no concepts of being able to speak that particular language.
So Victor, I guess, will. All right, then we'll tell them that we are unwilling to part with the body, and we'll see what happens. Yes.
I'm not willing to part with it.
Yeah, there's no way you'll convince Evie to do it.
You mean Ekon?
No, there's no way you'll convince Evie to do it.
What about it?
You could maybe convince me, I don't know, but there's no way you'll ever convince Evie to do it. I think she's probably right.
All right, so Victor.
Maybe it's not giving Giannis's soul to these three witches who she doesn't know who they are, what they're going to do with it.
So Victor will sort of nod to Evie and turn back to the witches and kind of take a couple steps closer to them, give his apologies for having the discussion, and then explain to them that my comrades are unwilling to part with the body of their family member. They are not sure what will be done if they were to part. They are afraid that it would be something amount to sacrilege.
The three women exchange glances, and they seem to do this every single time before they respond to you in your mind. And they ask you whether or not that's wise on your part. For Megillah is, and then you hear a word that you've never heard before in your own mind, and you recognize it as being three words at once. One of the women is telling you that Megillah is angry. One is telling you that Megillah is hungry. And the third is telling you that Megillah is watching.
Victor will give a slight nod and ask him for one moment while he relays his information.
They politely allow you to resume your conversation.
And he will return to Evie and tell Ekon to get over here and explain to them that the witches, well, he doesn't say they're witches, but the old women are very insistent. They're claiming that Megillah is angry and hungry and watching, which probably means that if we don't give over the body, we are going to be attacked. We are over a day away from these walls. We have no idea if they'll provide sanctuary. I do not personally want to give up the body, especially if it's going to be eaten by some monster. On the other hand, it's maybe if they're willing to give him funeral rites and not desecrate the corpse. Maybe it could be an avenue for discussion with these people in Megillah. We're kind of lost right here.
Victor, they're going to eat him.
Ekon will look over at Genie, who I'm pretty sure I'm completely aware is currently under the effect of comprehend languages, and say in Old Etherine, they wanted information about where the body is? Is that correct?
They either wanted the body or the location of the body.
You could truthfully answer that in a way that would be a puzzle that wouldn't make any sense to someone who doesn't understand a bag of holding.
That would assume they don't understand a bag of holding.
I don't think that's a safe thing to assume.
Victor will turn back to the witches and relay that my comrades are very concerned that should we reveal to you the location of the body, Megillah will eat the corpse and desecrate his remains and thus prevent his spirit from passing on to air.
And they exchange glances again. And their answer to you is that what Megillah does with its offerings are the prerogative of Megillah alone. They, however, are authorized to offer you. And then, once again, you hear a word you've never heard before. But you come to understand the word as having three meanings. The first which is offering treasure. The second which is offering sanctuary. The third which is offering knowledge.
God damn you. So Victor will nod to them and turn back to his companions and explain that I'm concerned that these women may be our only way out of this situation. They do not deny that he may be eaten, but they also do not confirm. They claim that what Megillah does with the offering is Megillah's will, and it's not of their knowledge. They are willing to exchange for us treasure, which at this point I don't think we care much about. Sanctuary, on the other hand, might be very useful. They're also willing to exchange with us knowledge about the area, which is very critical. On the other hand, it means we have to depart with the corpse of our loved one, who, and he kind of looks at Genie, he just kind of shakes his head, is in a safe space.
Victor, have you ever heard of the hierarchy of needs? So you have physiological, and then you have safety, right? second level, like that needs to be like, if we give this body to
Then we
these,
get safety.
these creatures, no. And I point at Evie, you will be castrated. She will kill you. I will not stop her because I love her more than you.
You two know I can speak Old Aetherine, right?
Yeah, you're part of this.
I'm not speaking Old Aetherine. I can't speak
Right,
it.
you
I
can
just
only
have-
understand it.
But I will tell him. I'll be like, have you heard of the hierarchy of needs?
So what
It's like
language are you
physiolo-
speaking, Genie?
Just regular, common.
Okay.
Like
And
if you do,
once
if
again,
you do this,
Ekon, you can tell that as Genie's speaking in common, 'cause I'm assuming you're like whispering, right? Trying not to be overheard.
Do we even have common, or is our language something completely different?
Well, what we're calling common is actually a language called Ferniskin, which
yeah. Well, I'm
all of you
speaking
speak.
for Niskin. Yeah.
But yeah, Ekon, you're watching the having this conversation as Genie is reprimanding Victor for even entertaining this idea. And again, you can tell the witches do not understand common
Yeah.
at all. They
Like-
can't follow the conversation.
Truthfully, I want you guys to understand that, like, here is like Jeannie, and she will like. Evie probably understands this better than this. Evie doesn't care what happens to the body, but she understands that if we give the body away, it will make Evie upset, and if she and Jeannie is explaining to this to you very, very slowly, like she's speaking to a child.
Yes.
That if you give this body away, you will be stabbed in your sleep.
Genie, I am perfectly capable of speaking for myself.
I understand that.
Evie.
But you also got to understand that if it comes from you, he's not going to take it seriously. He needs to understand that I'm fairly certain that you will stab him.
Where do Edmont and Ekon stand on this situation?
Completely opposed to handing the body
Completely
over.
opposed? Edmont?
Edmont, he's like we're at a point where it's like we're scraping to try and stay alive here. Like we've got to like there. Like I don't know. I don't think that this is the route that we need to go to get the handout, because that seems like just they want there's something that's not being told, and they're getting something for nothing for this. So Edmont is kind of like, okay, what's the other shoe? When's it dropping?
Okay, so Victor, what do you tell the old woman?
At this point, Evie is just like shaking with like silent sobs, and she's just like, "We failed Giannis. He's dead because we couldn't protect him. If we
He's
give
dead
away, if we give him away to these people, I
Actually,
don't know if I could ever get over that."
Ekon could have prevented this whole thing if only he used his blips.
That's not Ekon's fault, it's Destil's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it counted towards second, I would have used them, but
So, Victor will relay the hesitancy of his compatriots, and then he will ask about the walls to the south. What is that? Where is Megillah to the south?
Be careful. Do not ask them questions, because they may consider that to be you accepting their offer and them giving you knowledge.
I'm going to whisper to Ekon. I'm going to ask him a question.
Mhm.
Would Air consider a burial in the ethereal plane to be sacrilegious?
I don't know. Should I roll religion on that?
You said burial is preferred, right?
I don't think you can really bury anything in the ethereal plane.
I mean, you could. You just have to import your own dirt.
Isn't there like a town in the ethereal, like in like a bag of holding? There's a town in there somewhere, isn't there?
Not in your bag of holding.
All bags of holding are connected, aren't they? But anyway, like this is what I'm asking. I'm asking him, like,
Should I roll religion on that, or just be like,
I said, don't worry about it.
I
And
mean, you're way through the looking glass here. Preferably, like, Giannis would be laid to rest in home territory somewhere,
Right.
in, like, his native dirt.
All right, well, all right, good enough answer. And I start taking everything out of my bag of holding, just one item at a time. I just take it out like this. Like, and as long as that takes, it's one action per time. And I just pile it up on my feet. Short sword, short sword, short sword, short sword, light crossbow, light cross. Just Take everything. I don't have the cannon anymore. We left that up.
That's gone, long gone.
Planks. Take the planks out. Just take like ironwood planks. Take it all out.
So
Everything
that's
but
gonna take
the
some number of minutes, right?
Right. I'm just standing in the back doing this. Like while they're discussing this, I'm just quietly doing this.
Like,
Okay.
how many actual items do you have in your bag of holding numerically?
Numerically, I'd have to.
Yes.
A mess kit, a tinderbox, 5 torches, a crowbar, 3 bags of pitons, 20 flasks of oil,
Should I be counting these, or you?
6.
It's
So
gonna take a while.
what's the intent here? I mean, the women are
going
just
to-
regarding you curiously as you do this.
I'm going to take everything out of my bag of holding, but the body,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to rip the bag.
And destroy the bag?
Mm-hmm.
Victor, sort of unaware, will glance and just be like, whatever. And he will ask the women if they're amenable to discuss this further in the town to the south, and I'll point towards where the walls were. Out in the open is not the proper place to really have this discussion.
Bear with me one moment.
If you tear a bag of holding, everything in all the contents are lost in the ethereal plane, correct?
I don't know. You'd have to look in the DMG where the bag of holding is listed.
Because if I remember correctly, if you pull it out inside out, it
That just empties it.
empties it. But if it's
Yeah.
torn,
Victor, you ask if perhaps we should have this conversation in the town.
The astral plane.
Let's see, technically, if you're going by 2nd edition rules, you can't use a bag of holding in Ravenloft, because Ravenloft is on a demi-plane in the ethereal, and ethereal doesn't have a connection to the astral. So your bag is already illegal. Victor, you ask the women whether you'd be more amenable to have this discussion in the town to the south, and the 3 of them exchange a glance. And they reply. And they tell you, there is no town. There is only... And then you hear a word spoken or in your mind again. And it's a word you've never heard before. But you understand it to hold 3 meanings. And the first which tells you there is only death. The second tells you there's only blood. And the third tells you there's only mist.
yes. Okay, so I have everything in. If the bag is overloaded, pierced, or torn, it ruptures and is destroyed, and the contents are scattered in the astral plane.
Okay. Then yeah, you
So-
do that.
Body's gone.
And
I said-
Evie just screams when you do that.
Victor, well, the scream of Evie will turn around and go, "What the hell happened? What's going on?
Solve the problem.
What did you do?"
All right, so I'm pretty sure on a 23 Arcana check, I know what she did.
No, it's you guys have lived with Jeannie long enough. You know her artificer tricks. You know how a bag of holding works.
Okay.
That's fair to say.
Victor will just kind of shake his head and go, "It's fine," and he'll turn back to the women
It's
and say,
not fine.
he will turn back to the women and say, "We are willing to give you the location of the body in exchange for sanctuary, knowledge, and safety. Do you guarantee our safety if we provide you with the requested information?"
And they exchange glances. And they look back at you. Make a deception check.
I mean, I'm not going to do any deception, but okay.
Oh, if you're about to tell them anything other than the body's long gone,
Oh, so if he does tell them, he is going to tell them the body is in the ethereal plane.
It's an astral plane, but yeah.
He's going to tell them the absolute truth.
Oh, it's somewhere in the astral plane.
So if you need me to make a deception
oh yeah,
check,
make a deception check.
that would be, what is deception?
Because you're basically trying to calm these women. You're trying to get something out of them without giving them what they want.
So it would be a 14. But again, he's not trying to con them. He's willing to tell them the body is in the astral.
You have psychic dice that can improve your checks.
Oh yeah, don't forget that. Yeah,
Okay.
because you keep forgetting about that.
Too.
I remember you yeah.
They exchange glances.
That's a
Then
15.
look back at you.
I think that'd be a 15 if I can only use one of them.
They say, Sanctuary. Yes, this we can offer.
You did not say safety and knowledge. No, look at them.
And then they repeat the word that they spoke earlier. The word that means treasure and sanctuary and knowledge all at the same time.
I would need you to clarify your definition of sanctuary.
Ask him to speak it out loud.
And actually, he'll ask next time. Do you know Elvish or Dwarfish? And he'll kind of say the words Elvish and Dwarfish and Elfish and Dwarfish.
They exchange glances, and one of them begins speaking. Make me an intelligence check at disadvantage.
That would be a 12. That would be a 12 at disadvantage.
That's a what?
It's a 12 at disadvantage because you don't want my 20.
One of them responds, again, in the same language that was tried earlier. It sounds in the ballpark of Elvish, but you can't make out the words.
What is the words? Because I have comprehend languages up.
They recognize, what they speak to Victor is that they recognize the more proper and noble form of Elvish. But Victor doesn't speak that language. And neither does Genie, but Genie is magical
Cheating.
nonsense.
Yeah, it's cheating.
So Victor, do you tell the witches where to find the offering? It's somewhere in the astral plane.
So Victor will ask them to hold on for one more moment, and he apologizes again, and he'll walk to Evie. And he'll put his hand on Evie's shoulder. And he will talk to her very, very quietly in Old Etherine. Evie, I know this is difficult, but given what Genie did, do you really think there's harm if we tell them that the body is in the location?
Victor, is there anything I could say to you that would stop you from telling them?
Victor and Evie,
Yes.
make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no. I got an 18.
Victor, how'd you do?
I got a 12.
A 12? You hear gasps and cries from amongst your party, especially Tenny, who lets out this terrible scream. And you just barely manage to step out of the way as something large and heavy falls seemingly out of the random spot in the sky and crunches in front of you at your feet. And you realize it is the now badly broken body of Giannis, wound up in Genie's wrappings.
Wretches.
Evie just kind of does that thing where you put your hands over your mouth just to stifle whatever sound you were going to make.
The three women step forward with glee with their fingers outstretched towards the body.
Edmont pulls the bowstring back.
Victor takes a second to get over his shock and looking kind of half at the body and half at the women kind of puts his arm out as a not yours yet motion.
And you hear the women again speaking in your mind, very pleased.
Genie is looking up at the sky, very confused.
And they ask you, Well, they ask you whether they can take the offering back. Have we reached an accord? This is a yes or no moment. This isn't a one more minute. Hold on a second moment.
So
It's on you. You spoke up. Yes or no?
You're the only one who can.
You're
talk
you're
to them.
you're the psychic boy. You have to make the call. You can't.
I wish
I
it was
can't-
any other character, but unfortunately, it's Victor.
And I mean, looking around, I mean, Edmont's got his arrow knocked in his bow, and some of the other members of your party have taken that cue. Pladen's hand is on his sword, and Leitgard is also reaching back towards his quiver. And Jayla has
Ekon
one
his
hand on her
holy symbol
pistol.
held in front of him, like in his hand.
Genie's just looking up the
The
sky,
women
very
seem completely
confused.
oblivious to the violence. They're reaching forward and asking Victor if they can take the offering. All right, Victor, you've thought long enough. Yes or no?
yeah, Victor will kind of step in their way, let out a little sigh, and offer his deepest apologies, but my companions refuse to let you take the offering.
And the three women recoil as each of them snatches up their lanterns and they start backing away. You hear them speak in your mind, this time very angrily, very upset. And they tell you that, much to your sadness and peril, that Megillah has become your... Then you hear a word you've never heard before, but you understand it to mean three different things. The first woman is saying Megillah is your enemy. The second is saying Megillah is your doom. And the third, you can't tell what the word is. But you know it's nothing good. It's an ancient, primordial word. One of the old words that seems to have power. And they back out of the light of your campfire, and as they do, the three green lights flicker back into their lanterns, and only then do they turn and begin moving away from you.
Victor will deadpan to Evie and say, when we start to starve, your leg is the first thing we're eating.
I thought for
Edmont-
sure that would
Edmont-
work.
And then he's going to
Edmont-
look at Eugenia and just go, what the fuck did you do?
Edmont does not lower his bow until they are out of his sight.
That goes against all the known laws of magic. That should have. Also, Evie, can you fix my backpack with your sewing kit?
So that's a
What?
good place to call it for the session. I've gone ahead and put the straw poll link in the chat. I'm going to go dark for 2 seconds as I add up some experience if you guys want to start thinking about your blips.
Okay.
We're going to get Evie some crutches and feast on her leg, I guess, when we starve to death.
Who furthered the party's goals the most this week?
I'm
We
going
have
to
goals?
Victor. Who?
We have goals?
Survive.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna vote Victor for one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, Victor, for the psychic conversation.
What about the not
Who's the most
handy-
creative today? Who's the most creative today?
That was definitely Genie.
Yeah.
That would work.
Yeah, even though
Uh,
it didn't work.
If we
Yeah,
only
well, I mean-
gave creative to ideas that worked, we would never give out creative.
It's true. And who's a badass?
Let's see.
Edmont did, execute one guy and then punch another guy and executed him too.
Yeah, that was a very awkward combat.
Victor's
But
a mathy, but
Very awkward combat.
Listen, I burned six blips last week.
yeah,
because
you do.
we
Need
needed things. I need blips back. I'm also a level below everyone else, just so you know,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
because I don't blip very much.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay with you.
Oh, you're gonna get a bunch of experience for this week probably. Because blips are worth more now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a rubber band mechanic.
And intangibles.
I saved Tenny.
You did
do
save
that.
Penny.
You did
Yeah.
save Penny.
did save Tenny.
Yeah,
We did
I
it
can
for
give that to a
spite.
flyer.
We can give that to. We'll give that to you because spiting Brick Road is always an intangible thing.
You see, here's the thing though, is like, given where we are, I don't think that spiting Brick Road is a good idea.
Who wants some
Listen,
experience?
it's all we have.
You better take your experience now before you've spited me too much. So for a handful of bullywugs, and 2 bullywug croakers, and 2 giant frogs.
20. My money's on 20.
20 experience.
Everybody's taking 233 experience. 233.
You killed a
Yeah,
child.
I'm gonna have to burn blips in order to go be up with parity with everyone else.
Blips are worth more now, though.
Yeah, but I'm still 500 away from a level.
So who wants to make a case for some blips first?
I will.
Victor.
So I'm absolutely claiming a flaw for that whole negotiation.
Values knowledge over people.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right.
So the knowledge over the people, I guess, would be considering their offer. Can I use all 3 of them for different parts of that whole encounter?
If you can justify it.
So seeking the truth no matter the cost. The ideal would be trying to sort of get the information about who Magila is and what's to the south during that psychic conversation.
Even though the cost was Giannis's body.
Yeah. And then for the alignment, the ends justify the means. Oh, give me a second here. So for the knowledge over people would be the once they offer knowledge, it got more enticing. The ends justify the mean was, I guess, sort of even having the conversation to begin with from the start.
I don't know that I'm going to give you 3 blips for the same conversation. I think I can give you the 2 though.
I'll take the 2.
I think Evie really is going to kill Victor now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to happen. Who's next?
Well, no, that got postponed.
He did deny them at the end, right? It was a conflict
that's
between
true.
his bond, and his bond won out.
Uh
Who's next?
huh. I can go.
Genie, what do you got?
Okay, I've got my alignment, chaotic neutral. When in doubt, go with your gut.
Whatever
For-
for.
For going, you know what? This argument's getting us nowhere, and just trying to murder the hypotenuse, I guess.
Murder the hypotenuse?
Yeah. And get rid of
Use
the
the
body.
word.
Just take the the object of the argument out of the we don't have it anymore.
Okay.
So argument over. Well, what would Nigel do for comforting Tinny after the death of Giannis and the scary frog encounter? And I had something for the other one. Don't worry. What?
For my alignment, it was the eating of the frogs, the gathering and butchering of the frogs for the alignment. The ends justify the means.
Fair enough.
Don't worry about it. It was just a setback for. I had something. And I lost it. So we're just going to go with the video.
It's gone now. Okay, who's next?
I can go.
Ekon.
I got my ideal. Give me a reason for not wanting to simply attack a bunch of frogmen he didn't know anything about at a random temple. And I have lawful good. The shining words of air lay down a path for us all for going without food for 2 days.
Okay.
Oh, I remember. if you'll still accept it.
Oh, and I got 1 for initiative, but I really want to call 2 for initiative after that bullshit.
Yeah, that's.
What, what is Genie's third one?
For after the body came back down, looking at Evie. So my flaw, don't worry about it. It was just a setback for looking at Evie after the body and my shredded backpack came down. Looking at her and ask her if she could fix my backpack.
That's some cold shit. That's.
Are you sure Genie's not evil?
Did Ekon have a third one?
No.
His flaw? Okay. Who's next?
I'll go.
Edmont.
Lawful neutral, take everything you can, get nothing back for saying that let's get it, for being of the mind that we need to get as much out of these crones as we can. And then my flaw, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on you, for just basically like, oh yeah, no, those frogs are no problem. We're those frog people are done. We don't need to deal with them anymore.
Okay.
Just follow us down the river and murder a child.
Yeah.
What you're saying is that the child death is your fault.
That's what I heard. And what does
Sorry.
Evie have for me?
And so for Evie's aspect, you messed with my family, you messed with me for trying to save Giannis. She sped 4 blips. It didn't help.
Bought him 6 more seconds of life.
For her ideal, a chess master must move for pieces to the position of greatest advantage for floating the idea of using the familiars to scout.
Okay.
And this week, Evie's flaw is changing.
Changing to what?
Why is
It
Victor
is,
alive?
it is changing to no one understands.
So is she like going to start dyeing her hair black and listening to The Cure?
He already does that.
Oh, okay.
She's gonna be Medion.
We don't know that for sure. Genie could dye her hair red.
Oh, that's right. We don't know who dyes their hair. One of them.
Wait, I feel like okay.
They
let's
both
be
do. They're
real.
both natural blondes.
It'd be possible. What color is Tenny's hair?
Doesn't matter.
It
Auburn.
matters to us.
Who has the most creative solution to a problem?
Take a guess.
A genie with a bag of holding.
I thought for sure that would work. That was
I had to think for a moment, like, okay, what's the scariest thing that can happen as a result of her putting ripping the bag up with the body in there?
that was very
It's like,
surprising.
oh no, the body can't escape.
Because listen,
Oh,
you can't
fine.
teach an old dog new tricks. Like, there's big parts of my brain are always going to live in the 2nd edition cosmology, where Ravenloft has no connection to the astral plane. So you can't send the body to the astral plane. It has no way to get there. So
Isn't
where
there
does
like
it go?
Isn't there like a Ravenloft only monster that like specifically centered around Bag of Holding?
Maybe. I mean, I can bring to mind like really old stat blocks, like astral monsters that hunt for bags of holding, like steal treasure out of them and stuff. But
But
who did the most to further the party's goals this session?
Victor.
Unfortunately, Victor.
No, Victor did
Unfortunately,
okay.
Victor.
I mean, he didn't give them the body. He was good. He stayed in line with the party thought.
Who was the
Party.
badass?
That was Edmont for punching frogs.
You gotta punch a frog. And
Listen, he arrowed one and then punched another one out to death.
and then intangibles.
Victor for saving Tenny. Against all odds.
Was it Vic? Wait, no. I feel like Victor. Did Victor get 2? I feel like that's not right.
We can give it to somebody else, that's fine.
I'm okay with Victor getting 2, but like,
I mean, if McDohl needs the experience, we can come up with something that he did. For noticing and...
no, I'm fine with
Moment.
Victor getting 2. You spent.
You gotta
6
give it to
blips.
somebody.
That's fine. I'm okay with that.
We're seconding
Nobody speaks
Victor. Okay. And Evie has our straw poll this week.
Oh,
Probably for the whale of torment.
Edmont, you have 4 blips and you just earned 3, so you're going to roll over at least 1. Blips are currently worth 250. Do you want to come in next week with 6?
It sounds like I'm rolling over. I'm gonna go with 5, and I'm rolling over 2 if it's 250.
So you're coming in next week with 5?
Yeah. And level 5 as well.
Excellent. Go ahead and level yourself up. What is your reputation for level 5?
Frog puncher.
Frog Slayer looks like.
Frog Slayer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Defender of the survivors of Brennanine. No.
Ekon, you had 6 and you just earned 4.
Yeah.
You're going to come in next week with 6?
Yep.
Evie, you had 1 and you just earned 2?
I earned more than that. I got from the straw poll.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry. I forgot to credit you for that. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, I messed up here. I accidentally credited Ekon for that. Ekon, you only earned 3, not 4.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. And then I have to. Yep.
And
That's
Evie
right.
earned 3, not 2. So Evie, you want
Because
to come
that-
in next week with 4?
Yes.
Okay. Gina, you had 3 and earned 5, so you have to roll over at least 2. You're going to come in next week with 6.
Yeah.
And Victor had nothing, and you earned 5. You're going to bring all
Yeah.
5. All right. Edmont, do you have any cool level 4 monk stuff that you want to brag about before we...
Well, falling damage is a non-issue now.
Excellent. I'll throw you off something.
Yeah, throw me off cliffs. It's
Beautiful.
good.
All right.
No, just more key points and ASI, which I have to, think about.
Lots of feats to choose from. So,
Yeah.
when we come back next week, we will... Well, let me make sure I save this map properly. Like that. And when we come back next week, we will explore more of this horrifying map and see if more bodies fall out of the sky. Why wouldn't they?